outcomes, which is some measurable thing that hopefully is a primary source that tells you over time, do you do what you need to do? Which I found in libraries, in colleges, a challenge with college libraries is because libraries are required to exist from a regulatory environment. It's like, every accrediting body says you must have a library, they must be led by an MLS, and you must do these things. And somewhere, that's been inserted, which is fine. The funny dark side of that is a lot of schools then say, why do you have a library? I have a library because I was told to. And they don't think further than that. They don't think into no. Why do you have a library? What is the real role this library serves on the campus, and how do you know it serves the role? And so, for us, we lived that for long. The 20 some odd years I've been here, probably for 20 of them, we were just happy with, look, all colleges have libraries. We've got it. How much energy do you want to spend on this conversation? In the last few years, we've been going deeper into it and saying, no, look, talk about why does it exist, and then how do you know it works? And so to do that, you do need these measurable tracking tools of which go beyond just I'm happy with the surveys. And I would say, we're not done. I don't have the answers to I don't sure where Sue led with this, but at this point, our big conversation in terms of the library this year is how do we create a trackable system to know that the open source resources meet the needs of that program beyond just happy faculty, happy students. And the way we're approaching it is to actually, first step is to start cataloging the collection specifically for the program. Then link that to budget allocation, so we can see, if nothing else, I can look objectively and say, look, interesting, I have a DV program that is absorbing a disproportionate number of resources relative to the other programs. Why is that? And so that linkage is what we're building right now. And then on top of that, we want to develop something that gets to the root of, okay, is that right? Is it good? Is it not good? At this point, I'm going to be happy to just be able to look at it through the lens of my program and get past just satisfaction. Satisfaction is a part of it. I want the students to be happy, but again, honestly, not mean to relate overtly library to food service. There's this funny parallel with students on campus where they view it the same way. They either love it or hate it. And there's a thing that we're doing in the food service that terrifies them, but we're getting ready to deploy it, where we are installing 2 buttons by the cash register. Like a red and a green, they glow, happy and hate. Students can walk by and they can any time, with any frequency, you can hit either button. The data is going to stream to the intranet real time. And so, almost like a stock ticker. And so what we're hoping will socially emerge on campus is this thing where, okay, you walk up, and if you've had a great meal, you just don't hit one and walk away politely. It's like, bang, 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 bang. That was an amazing meal. Or if it was, that's pretty good one. And you'll be able to kind of get the current gauge of people's how passionate you are about the food service. In a roundabout way, I'd like to find something like that through the library, where it just doesn't become this gradient. Well, we morph and thing into just an average scale. We're a B plus. We want to be an A someday. Which I see happen everywhere. I see a scale like that employed. I'd like to see something that goes directly to, oh no, when students walk out of the library, they have an interaction with a student worker or Nancy or Sue, and they're so amazed because Sue is so connected to the internet underworld that they told her, she told them something they never knew, and they go, that is the coolest freaking librarian I ever met. Bang, 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 bang. That, I would argue, would be a more effective means of knowing how much people care about your library than a once-a-year survey. And so there's a long ramble on that. And so, but wouldn't it be cool though?
I think it'd be really interesting just to see what would evolve out of that.
Yeah.
One of the things I've done is we did a survey, and instead of asking questions about the library, we called it Business of the Future.
Okay.
So that way we could try and gauge what type of program service were people looking for.
Yeah.
But wouldn't give us that social responsible answer of library, it must be good. I
Right.
must like the library.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and it's a funny thing, 'cause I think college libraries have a different kind of a challenge than public libraries.
Right.
Where that exist as sort of community centers, and it's a college library. I think students, there's a certain conception of it. Well, if you're a library, if you're someone who likes libraries, you go to college libraries and you hang out in the stacks and you do that thing. Everybody else is. I was told to go here. They made me. I'm showing up because I had assignment 3 in this class that maybe you should verify I was in the library 4 times. And I turned it in. And I think that the cultural mindset sits out there. And so anytime you sit at a library, your enthusiasm drops if you can find something to recontext it. I saw a library once. It might have been American Community College out on the far west side by the west.
Would that be Estrella?
Estrella, where they, if I remember correctly, the library was really dispersed into the computing commons. I mean, it was hard to see the barriers where one began and the other ended. And this would have been a while ago. This would have been 94, 95. We're thinking of building this campus, and Dominic Pastillo, the founder, and I were really interested in open spaces, and someone said, go check out Estrella. And I'm hoping that's the right college. But we went there, and what I saw was the computing commons, big open space. The stacks were completely exposed to the space, and it was just out there. There was, and I'm relatively certain they had an automated, check-in, check-out system. And when I was talking to the director at the time, we were asking about the whole, we're about collections walking. And he said, relative to the staff costs and the infrastructure costs, associated with ensuring the collection didn't just vanish, we just don't worry about it. We put, we put checkout stations there, and we try to cultivate a sense of responsibility for it. And yes, things walk, but it's less net cost than the body cost.
Oh, interesting.
Well, what's something I've noticed, even here, which it didn't work. I understand when we went to our architects, we built this place. The architects couldn't wrap their heads around the concept. I mean, they literally couldn't. We had educational architects, and we said this is a design constraint. I want the library to intermingle. If you look at our library, it lives as a weird little nook off to the side, and the architect couldn't wrap their head around a design that did that. And meanwhile, we were fighting for other design points. We just let it go. But you just couldn't, really. And the funny thing is, over the years, if you looked at the cost of staffing relative to the cost of collection development in a given year, the cost of staff for a library, it's substantial. And again, with all respect to people who are library professionals, students often, unless the library professional provides more service than check-in, check-out, the resource is better spent on books. If you have a library, and I'll use Sue as an interesting case of this. Sue, her value add is she's insanely nerdy. I've hired the nerdiest librarian I've ever met in my life to work at our school, and when you go talk to Sue, she's incredibly connected to the internet, the culture of the internet, and if anybody spends time with her, you're going to get that out of the librarian. And in which case, okay, that's money well spent. Money spent on someone who's just there organizing the collection. If I could, if I look at that and say, well, couldn't you just get more collection? That you're going to want to do that. And in other areas of the campus, we've done that with IT. Because if you look at our campus, you'll notice we don't secure much. And people say, well, why don't you? So we don't want people to steal things. We tell them stealing is bad, and we talk about it. But relative to the cost of cultivating the security infrastructure, we just assume you have this amount of threshold so that walks, and you create an open space people feel comfortable in, and you just buy new stuff. And it just, the campus feels better as a result of it.
Right.
But I digress wildly from library science, but it's I'm often interested in the idea of a library where, the content is not, a library isn't a space where you just go and do the library thing. I think if you've got the benefit of a great building, that's one thing. It's there's no doubt that if you happen to have a great physical space, yeah, that's a wonderful thing to do. But even then, you're going to the space, but to create a room or a set of rooms that are just a bunch of rooms, and I'll use actually an example of this because one I don't like is I'm not over fond of MCC's design because it feels like, yep, here's a whole bunch of rooms that are library spaces, and it's kind of cold and impersonal. And whenever I go to ask the question, would I come here if I really didn't need the book, no, you know. And with the second that I could get that book online, I would just choose